Anyway, let's get it going. How are you doing
Word.
this morning?
Yo, I'm great. I've been up since super early, just creating better habits is what I've been telling people on the daily, literally.
Yeah, sure.
Um, Got up and worked out in full kind of for the first time. And it
Hmm,
still wasn't even that crazy, but just being a little bit more conscious of what I do, my intake. Um, um yeah, morning, I'm here drinking boiled ginger and lemon tea. You know what I'm saying?
nice.
So, just create better habits for real. It's love.
That's awesome. Boiled ginger sounds great. I make myself garlic tea.
Ah,
I
okay.
grew up in uh, Gilroy, California. It's the garlic capital of the world.
Oh,
And so I was inundated with garlic as a kid. And then I make garlic tea. My friends don't like it, but I like it.
I'm assuming that is definitely an acquired taste. I have never consumed garlic like that, but
It's a
I'm
it's a
down for whatever
natural it's a natural
nowadays.
antibiotic, You can get sick. You can get sick. You can get healthy quicker when you're sick.
Right,
All right, cool.
right.
So, I wanted to put this together so that we could chat a little bit about creativity. You're one of the
Absolutely.
most creative people that I know, and we met in the subway while I was doing my subway therapy sticky note
Word.
project. And
Yeah.
I just thought you were like the coolest person to talk to that first time that we met. And it's so
Yeah.
fun. So every once in a while, I'll meet people in the subway when I'm doing my artwork, and then I'll have a chat, and I'll just think like, oh man, this person has like they've just got it going on, and I think that you're one of those people, and so I'm really
Thank you,
excited
man.
to chat with you about creativity and your process and all that good stuff.
Word.
And so, yeah, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? I know there's probably people watching from your stream that might already know, but there's people probably watching from mine. And I would love for you to kind of to give people an overview of like who are you, what do
Sure.
you do?
Absolutely. So I am from the Bronx. I'm a native New Yorker, and I grew up over around here, and uh, I went to, let's say, fast forward. I went to an arts high school. Figured out, music was what I really wanted to do. I had a strong passion for that. After life kind of, whipped my ass for a little bit, I stopped
Mm,
playing music for a while, and then I was, thrown into by a good friend of mine in high school, friend Melanie Charles. She invited me over to a jam session called The Lesson NYC was like, it changed my spirit. Like, it really did. It was a pivotal point, turning point in my career and outlook towards making music a career. I never saw
whoa.
it as it prior to that. But I saw how much passion these guys had. So completely influenced by how they played, the environment that they kept when they did host an event. This used to happen every single week, Thursday nights at Arlene's Grocery. And I was there every single week, like clockwork, just because I needed that healing and I needed to hear this. I had never heard anything like that before. I started piano lessons when I was 7 and I was classically trained. So that was literally my world for a very, very, very long time until about high school, later on in high school. But when I was introduced to the lesson, it had thrown me into a genre of music I couldn't even comprehend in the beginning.
Whoa.
And then throw on top of the fact that all of what they were doing was improvised. So I'm like, wait, hold on. Like, this is all coming off the top. You guys are vibing together. There's 6, 7 guys on stage, and you guys know how to speak to each other on the stage like this and sound as amazing as you do. That's incredible. Like, I couldn't fathom those thoughts. So, after being heavily influenced there, I started just having get-togethers. I wanted to do music again. I hadn't done music for a really long time, and then I was gifted a keyboard by my old like choir director from a church that I used to go to when I was young, super young. I went to visit and say hello, and she's like, "Why are you not playing?" Hell no, we're gonna fix
You
that
gotta
right
play.
now. Right, literally. She was like, "We're gonna fix that right now." And lo and behold, she gives me this cheap little Yamaha 88 keyboard, and I started playing after that. I joined a little group. I was living in Harlem at the time. I had a illegal basement apartment on 145th in St. Nick,
Nice,
but it was super
nice.
clutch because we could lock the basement. I mean, we could lock the elevator to go downstairs, so nobody could bother us if you didn't have the key. And the only people who had the key were one other apartment and the super. So it was clutch.
Nice.
That's kind of where it all started. I started throwing, little, not jams even, like just gatherings. That's how everything kind of started. Just having friends over, vibing. It was, again, super clutch to have that type of privacy so we can do whatever. And then I joined a band, and I was able to keep all the instruments at my crib because my bandmate couldn't. He couldn't practice as much as he wanted to, and I had the basement. So I kept his drum kit at my house. Bass player would come through, and I had my keyboard. So then we would start shedding in the crib, creating music, or just shedding just because. And that's literally how like things started. Just inviting friends over. We didn't have a speaker system. It wasn't any of that. So if you came through, we were all having conversation, or we were playing live music because we
Right,
didn't have
right, right.
anything else. Right.
This is
So
like, it's a really fascinating commonality that we have, because I used to live in this house called the Yellow House. It
mhm.
was just a house that was yellow. and
Okay.
and
Word.
I had friends that I lived with. One of them was a drummer, so he wanted to put his drum set in the living room because it was the only place
Mm.
for it. And then my other roommate, he was a guitar player, a singer, and so he ended up just playing a lot. And then they would play, and I didn't even play an instrument really at the time. And one of my friends, the Aaron, the guitar player, he was like, "Hey, play bass on this song. I want to play this song, and I want you to just play the bass." It's like, "Well, I don't know how to play
Nice.
bass." He's like, "Just play it, just whatever, just play these like three notes." And I was like, "All right." And we played a song, and I remember being super. I was like, "Oh shit!" I was like, "This is some real shit." Like playing a song
Word.
is awesome. And then the three of us made a band, and we started playing all the time because they were just there. Our living room was just full of instruments. There was
Right.
bass, guitar, amps, drum
Nice.
kit. And then because we were playing all the time, people would come over to listen and hang out. And then it just kind of became like this party vibe where people would come over to like
Mhm.
drink and hang out, and we'd be playing music at the same time. It was like the
Mhm.
coolest thing.
I love it. That's how it goes. It's got to be organic like that. And
So your
that's
organic thing grew into something much bigger. Tell me
yeah.
about that.
So, within that apartment, that Harlem apartment, I started, like I said, just hosting gatherings and get-togethers, and we just have a ton of friends over. By that point, I had just started kind of finagling my way back into the live scene. So I still was very much unknown, kind of just working with this group, this band that we had, but building relationships. Um, I got hired for an event called The Poet Will Be Televised. So shout out to Dale Novella and The Poet Will Be Televised. They were kind of like my first start in the New York City live scene. And we would have a weekly poetry jam session, or I'm sorry, a monthly poetry like jam session at Funkadelic Studios. Shout out to Funkadelic Studios. And so I started meeting a ton of artists through there at first, and kind of just, getting in on that. And then just networking, kind of just built the network from there. I ran into a cat named Mike Muhammad who also lived in Harlem. He had a basement apartment too. And he was like,
Nice.
yo, I love how this feels. Yo, if you want to throw something at my crib, let's do something at my crib. And he lived in a type of apartment where he had access to the back of the building. So a lot of the buildings in Harlem are connected through the basement. So you
Okay.
can like run two buildings down if you wanted to, but it's only through the back of the building.
Whoa.
So you go to his crib. So there was a lot of backyard space. Um, what is considered a backyard in New York City. So he was like, yo, throw something there. I threw my birthday party there, and we had like 350 people show out for that. And we were like,
What?
what
That's
the
massive.
hell? I had gauged it based off of the Facebook invite, and I got a lot of responses off the Facebook invite. So I'm like, this is going to be bigger than I thought. We went to Costco, we bought a grill. We were like, yo, $20 at the time. It was $20 unlimited food and unlimited drink. It was ridiculous.
Nice.
So, we stocked up on Costco and was like, all right, let's pull this off. We built the grill that day, that morning. We set everything up. It rained. We had friends help set up a tarp. It was crazy. But it worked. It worked. And literally that was the first time where we were like, maybe this should be like a regular occurrence. Like this is a house party now at this point. It was just, a birthday celebration in the beginning. Then We did I think maybe one or two more that particular summer. We go the whole fall and winter without one. Next summer came, same thing. We went back to his crib, hosted another one. He had the space for it, and so it just kind of rolled into a thing thereafter. People were coming through. Like I said, I was not working a lot at the time. I just used to be out a lot, so my presence was of the utmost importance. People needed to know who I was. People started to know who I was,
Right, right, right.
and they messed with me. So they liked who I was. They came through to just chill. The premise of it was to
You're breaking up a little, just so you
lessen
know.
that particular event. Who were Oh, sorry, but I
No,
was
no, you're
thinking
all right.
of
You're just coming in
friends
and
of
out. I want
mine.
to let you know.
Oh, it's all good. Sorry about that. My connection is probably crap.
It's all
But
good.
uh yeah, so I was inspired by people like my friends at the lesson, where I'm like, all right, these are touring musicians. When do they get to just chill? Like, I don't know when that happens exactly. So I would invite them with nothing in mind but just to hang out and have a drink with them. And that sincerity really spoke volumes for them, and
Mm,
they kept coming back. That's what it was. I didn't bring them over to jam. I didn't bring them over to do anything else but have some food and have a drink. Let's do
sure.
that. So because of that, it definitely stuck. I felt like I tugged at a couple like heartstrings because of that one, and people just rocked with it. And about 3.5 years ago, I moved to where I'm at now, here in Ridgewood, where I'm lucky to have a rooftop. And I
Yeah.
had like, the apartment was empty in the beginning. I didn't have anything in it. Um, yeah, the apartment was empty in the beginning. So because of that, we were able to set up a drum kit. I had just gotten laid off from my job, and we had gotten a small severance package. So I was like, all right, let's see. Let's see what we can do with this like severance package
Cool.
And I bought a drum kit, put it in my living room. It was like, well, I'm in a band. I don't have money to be paying for a rehearsal space. We're gonna rehearse at my house.
Nice. That's the way
So
to do it, though. It's so comfortable and so fun to be practicing at home.
mhm,
I like it a lot. I mean, you might bug the
ditto.
shit out of your neighbors, but
Right, exactly. But it is what it is. So, I appreciate it, and we took advantage of that. So uh I was able to host more. Time became the most important thing on my list. Time was the one thing that freed up at that time. And had my time and availability not changed, it wouldn't be where it is right now. I was just able to say yes to so much more. I was able to invite more folks over. I was able to host more. I was able to just do a lot more. And it made all the difference. It made all the difference. And then, you add a rooftop, that fortunate vibe of a rooftop during the summer. People just want to be above ground,
yeah.
and that feel, just want to be closer to the sun. And then, like I said, we respect people here. It's a whole atmosphere when you walk in the house. There's no BS, no drama. uh, I'm fortunate to say that I've never had an issue at any of my events ever, because I specifically invited folks knowing how they'll treat my space, and they've invited their friends knowing how they'll treat the space too. So those first generation friends were it, and then thereafter it was just like clockwork. Oh man, my live is acting crazy right now.
Live, no.
Live, no.
Instagram, what are you doing? I have a feeling that your camera turned around. So if you double tap,
Oh,
you probably have to flip it back to
oh,
face you. There you
oh,
go.
oh, yeah. I
It
definitely
you,
poked the screen and it showed my pillow.
it didn't like it. The screen doesn't like being poked. So I'm
I
kind of
poked the
curious. So like
screen.
you built
Yeah.
up this party that has turned into a brand pretty much from scratch, right? You just start
Mm-hmm.
out super slow and then so let's say people are trapped inside right now, social distancing, can't go
Mm-hmm.
outside, can't, you know, wh- what what would you recommend, or do you have any advice for people that are thinking, all right, I have these ideas and I want to like send them out into the world, or I want to create this thing based on this idea I have, like what's a good first step for somebody to start working towards
Right.
realizing their dream?
You come first. You have to, in layman's terms, like not suck as a human. People will bang with you before they bang with your brand, for
Mm.
sure. Unless you're like a freaking savant, and that uh you know, that can ease the mind of people wanting to compromise their morals for an individual. But first you have to figure out what you like, what you want to do. Over the years I've figured what I've wanted to do, and that took time. I didn't know that this was a thing that I wanted to do: community building and maintaining and preserving the culture in my city. um, that wasn't the goal at first. The goal was just to hang and just chill with my friends, you know.
Mm.
So some advice: understand who you are first. People will look at you before they look at your brand or whatever you think you may want to do, and then you'll start to gain the support and the mindset that you need to have to build that up
Sure.
thereafter. So be as genuine as you can, because that genuine nature is going to find you the support that you're looking for and put you around the people who want to help you. um, like I said, it kind of just reverts back to my first thing with people messing with you first. They have to like you first in order to facilitate a dream. I don't think anybody can necessarily do it alone. So
Yeah, right. Sure. Yeah, it's
yeah,
certainly one of the
so
reasons why when you came up to me in the subway, I was just like immediately like, oh, this is a person that whatever she's doing, like that's something that I want to find out what's going on with that.
word, I appreciate that.
And then, I finally got a chance to go at the Sultan Lounge, which I feel like was the last
Was
public thing that anybody
yeah,
got to do.
yo, yeah,
It was
that
so cool. I
that was
wish I could have stayed later. It was a fun night. You guys really just do it up. Um, for anybody that's watching that doesn't know, that house party though is just an amazing community event where musicians can come. It's got that gritty New York realness, which I get in the subway through my project, but you get it in the music scene, which is really amazing. And it's kind of a no bullshit, come and have fun event. I
Word.
recommend anybody go. When all this is over, I assume you're going to start doing it again.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. We had an April date set, and I know that that's definitely in conflict now. We're gonna have something at the end of April,
got it.
um, but we'll figure it out once everything blows over, and we'll get back into a routine. Thereafter, probably just bring people to the rooftop and just get some fresh air, get some sun, and chill. We have a great relationship with the Sultan Room, so I know that they're going to want us back as soon as this is all over as well. And we're just looking forward to kind of just creating some peace, because there's a lot of craziness and anxiety involved in what's been happening. So now it's more, it's more way more important now for us to establish like a sense of calmness, or love. You know what I'm saying? It's just
Yeah,
anything rooted in love. Like that's what we're just trying to expand on, quite honestly, in this
right.
at this point. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I hope that people really focus on like love and spreading it to other people and making sure that like there's enough of it going around. And
Yeah,
certainly
man.
events like yours, they shouldn't go away just because people can't do it for a period of time, you know?
Right, right.
And so I'm kind of wondering, like, what does that look like for you for, COVID-19? Do you feel like at risk, like maybe it's something that you won't be able to do more? Or like for me, I lost out on like a bunch of partners that wanted to do in-person stuff. So I know other
Right,
people are having that problem, but
right. So no, I don't feel like the brand is at risk at all. If anything, what I'm trying to do now is figure out a way to um create something, virtually. I've honestly never really been the person to be really online with anything. I'm always a grassroots kind of individual. Meet me in person, let's shake hands, let's talk. That's always been the core of who I personally am, and I guess what the brand has also become. So, um, nah, like I said, like there's a particular bond and love that I feel like the brand has with the people, and they're not ready to give that up. So yeah, I don't think it's really going to be too affected. If anything, if we can't bring it back to Sultan for a little while, like I said, I have my home, and we'll just bring people over here and just
I'm excited.
make
I'll
it a
be there
thing.
for
Word,
sure.
word.
I think we
Uh,
lost our Instagram live, which is fine.
yeah, it's all good.
We got it on a
Yeah,
little bit.
yeah.
Um, anyway, uh, I'm this whole COVID-19 thing. Have you experienced, like, aside from the creative thing, like you're inside most of the time, right?
Yeah, yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm in the crib doing nothing.
Doing the
I
social
mean, well,
distancing thing. Do you? Because I saw
yeah.
you jamming the other day with a friend of yours.
Oh,
Can you,
yes.
how did that
Yeah.
work? Has it?
So,
Because I just imagine if you have maybe two works, but does three not work because then everyone's on a different time?
no, you give people a BPM and it's all good, man. Like, you just gotta edit and move the video over just so that way we start at the same time. But as long as we're
Okay.
on the same BPM, it's all good.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, man.
So it works because I was imagining, you're hearing people live, but it's probably like off by a little bit. So then when you're recording, maybe it works though. I don't know.
Yo, I love it. I'm like jamming now with all the homies. There's this amazing group created by Resonator, a brand called Resonator Arts. They're phenomenal. Shout out to Ben Chin and Zavin. They started this Facebook group called Steal This,
Mm,
and then they just people just post clips, and then it's like literally take that and now build on top of it. And we use a couple of different video editing apps, whatever it works. I use iMovie, and you can create little picture in picture, so then you just record and then you stitch that and glue it onto the video, and boom, it's like 3-4 people are on a video now. And it's just lit. Like
that's
I've never,
amazing.
and then it's so, what's even doper is the fact that we get to collaborate with folks that we don't collaborate with regularly. Everybody now has the time. So
Yeah.
it's just insane to see what people are coming up with. Like, I genuinely forget sometimes how talented certain folks are because they may be known for just one thing. And this one painter, Ike Slimster, for instance, was one painter, he'll bust out all these beautiful works of art. And I completely forgot that he produced until he hopped on and remixed, my and a friend's thing that we posted in that group chat. It's
Yeah.
just amazing. Like, it's pretty lit. It's pretty
That's
lit. It's a
awesome.
great concept. And that's what we've been doing to kind of stay afloat in this. It's kind of been, pushing me to play more, pushing me to practice more, pushing me to want to collab more. I'm making new friends, so many friend requests now, and
Hmm.
literally just building, So
Yeah.
meeting people.
So, like, for me, I have that spirit too, where I'm just like, okay, there's weird shit going on. I have to like build, connect. Like that's my,
Yeah.
I'm just like reaching out.
Mm-hmm.
But I know there's a lot of people that aren't, or they're feeling frustrated because there's like the groups of people that are like, we have to do as much as we can, and then there's a group of people it's like,
Right.
I just want to sleep all day. And
Right.
so
Which is also valid.
yeah, totally. I just wanted to throw that out for anybody watching later or anybody listening now. Like, I'm a doer, and I'm like, I in some ways thrive in like these chaotic environments, but certainly if your mode right now is just to like chill,
Mm-hmm.
you don't need to be creating like a new company or launching a new thing, right?
That's true. That is
But if
also very
that
true.
is what you want to do, that's super sick.
Right. I completely agree with that. I feel like we just move so fast as New Yorkers. We don't know how to slow the hell down. This is the city that doesn't sleep, and that's a phrase that I really don't take lightly
Yeah.
anymore. Like, it's just a phrase you grow up in this. That's great, but bruh, like, we have issues slowing down. It's only been a couple weeks. People are like, "Oh, it's been 3 weeks," and I'm like, yes, it's actually only been 3 weeks. You know what I'm
Right, right,
saying?
right.
Like, it's really not that long. It's not that long at all. We've been on this earth for how long?
Yeah,
So
for sure.
now we need to understand that. Hold on, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get back on this live. But
Oh,
yeah, we
okay.
we
Let
need
me know
to
when
we
you're
need to
live and I'll
thoroughly
I'll jump
understand
back
that.
in.
sure. Oh, oh, okay. Yeah, now it's all good.
You might want to close Instagram and open it back up. That could help.
I did that a
Oh,
few
okay.
times on the iPad, but yeah, hold on one second.
Technology.
Right, let's talk
It's a
about it.
thing. Yeah, from a production standpoint, I'm actually curious, how much do you actually produce that house party though from a like technical standpoint? Do you have a big team now, or is it still like you are who's plugging in the XLR cables and, running sound? Is that like through the venue
Absolutely.
or
So now it's through the venue, and I can add a guest, and I'm gonna add you, my friend. But
are we
yeah,
doing the live? I don't see that you're live on Simpson
yeah,
Keys.
it should be
Oh, got it.
sweet.
Going. I'm in it.
All right, but
I'm requesting
yeah,
to go live.
sweet. Oh man, all the
It's going.
homies. This is love.
Hey, hey.
Hey. All right, but
We're back.
wait. All right. So what were we last talking about? Um, let me see. I really do forget. What were
We
we
were
last
talking
talking
about like
about?
who does what.
Oh
So in the
yes.
Sultan room, there's people who are running the audio and doing all these different things. So is that something you do yourself?
Right. So at the Sultan Room, there's definitely a team now, so my friends don't have to worry about that. But at the crib, that's really where it all goes down. So there's definitely a team for sure. I cannot do this alone. Um, hold on, let me turn on the volume on this.
Sure.
But yeah, so yeah, there's definitely a strong team that I have that has been supporting me since the beginning, especially since I moved here. And that involves some of my bandmates,
Right.
Snacks on drums, Brian Merritt, my partner first and foremost, Epiphany B. She's also been a critical part in the development and the shape of the brand. She's a lot more low key. She's a visual artist. That's her artwork on the back. And she is like the people person that like sneaks in and out as I'm doing everything on the front end. She's doing a whole lot on the back end.
Yeah.
But in regards to technical stuff, I've had people like friends, like a friend of mine indefinitely loaned me his speaker system when I didn't have one to
Mm.
use. His name is Nori, a great guy. And he was just like, I love what you do, so I'm just gonna have this stuff sitting around. I'm gonna let you hold on to it, and you can hold on to it for as long as you need. And I just want to see this thrive. So there is definitely a strong group of folks. Daniel Drum is another guy who's on board. Rhett Law, my DJ, like, first of all, not only does he set the tunes, like he's a hardworking man, period. And he also facilitates in the movement of what goes on when we do have the rooftop sessions here and have to physically carry the drum set to the rooftop and the keys and everything involved necessary to get it from living room to the top, So
It's a lot
yeah,
of
there's
work.
definitely a team for sure, for sure. Prior to that, it was just maybe myself and my boy Snacks, like, and Epiphany, maybe a couple of roommates that I live with, because I do live with a lot of folks, so they're always down to help. There's always somebody around for sure. Like I never do it alone. I don't want to do it alone.
Yeah.
And so I've just been really fortunate to always have like a decent team around, making it happen and helping me out with
So
that for sure.
how many people do you live with?
So there are six of us. I live in a 5-bedroom duplex.
That's
There's a lot
awesome.
going on. Yeah, there's a lot going
It's
on
like
here.
you're probably social distancing, but like you guys get to be in the house
Right.
together and hang
It's
out as
pretty
long as
close.
nobody's like in and out, in and out.
Word. Exactly that. It's nothing crazy. Like, some of us are still fortunate to work. One of us does still have to go in and out, but we take precaution. We got to take our shoes at the
Yeah.
door, wash our hands, all the good stuff that we're doing. So,
Yeah.
certain things are inevitable, but we try. But it's
Did you
clutch.
take your shoes off at the door before?
Yo, sometimes, not all the time. Honestly, it wasn't like the biggest thought in the back of the head, you know?
Right. I
But
lived in
now it's
Korea
like,
for a
nah.
year. So I was
Ah,
like, I got used to the shoes off. And now I just, if anybody walks in with my shoes, I'm like, what are you doing? New York's so gross. You know what you walked through to get here?
right, right.
If
Ah,
anybody has any questions or wants to ask about like creativity, making music, whatever it is, feel free to jump in. You can ask a question in the comments, or if you want to join us on our Zoom call, we have two things going. We have the Instagram live, we have a Zoom call. You can go to artpluspeople.com/lunch. This is part of the Creative Lunch Club, where I'm have conversations with people who are super cool and doing really interesting work in creative spaces. Um, so yeah, ask questions, do the thing. Tilted 8 says, how many brands are you
how
in?
many bands am I in?
Oh, bands. Did I say brands?
All
How many
right,
bands are you
so
in?
I am actively part of OJ in the Yams. That is my main project. Shout out to that squad. Through that came another um, project called Petty Tender Grass, which is just myself and the drummer from OJ and the Yams, Snacks. So we do a couple of side things and we make some side music as well. And then I recently joined a group called Herbivores, the
Mm,
Herbivores. So shout out to that squad over there. It's more R&B ish. OJ and the Yams is more hip hop based. Petty Tender Grass is kind of eclectic. We kind of do whatever we feel, just like really good head nodding grooves. It's an instrumental project, just the two of us, keys, key bass, and drums.
nice.
Yeah, so those are my active three projects, and then I just freelance. So whenever I get the call, I'm in there.
That's pretty ambitious. I'm not in any bands right now, but I just got a bass from a friend of mine, so I'm excited to start playing again. I
Nice.
seem to find some people to jam with.
Hey, I
Um,
mean, come on.
yeah, do a little live stuff. That sounds good to me.
I mean? You know what I mean? Let's go.
Victoria, I saw that you unmuted yourself. Did you want to jump in?
Hey,
So, hey Simone, how you
hey,
doing?
what's up?
Miss you guys. Um,
You know,
I I know Diamond and I miss going to that house party though, especially on the rooftop. It's
mhm,
been a long time, but I know eventually we'll be able to come back.
mhm.
But have you thought of doing like a that house party though, like Zoom situation?
Yo, that would be lit. That is definitely something that I'm
No.
on my side. Victoria is asking here on the Zoom chat, do I have any plans on doing like a house party though, virtually? Um, I am working through that, actively because I would love to see all the dope faces again for
Mm.
sure. And I know that that's mainly what it's about. What I'm trying to do is just incorporate something that will somewhat involve live music. I'm just trying to work around that because a DJ joint we can definitely do easily and
No.
have somebody singing all day.
Last
But
night,
hmm
you know the musician B Steadwell?
yes.
She did pretty much like a release party kind of on Zoom last
hmm
night.
hmm
And I was like, it made me think, I'm like, so it was really cool because everybody got dressed up and it was just like a cool interaction. And I was like, I need more of my artist friends to do that
Yeah, absolutely.
because I just miss
Absolutely. I'm
going
with it.
out.
That's completely valid. Yeah, I'm definitely with it. I guess I'm like maybe just overthinking and I can definitely do some more, but we gonna do this. Say less. Say less. Say less. Yeah. We down? We down? Oh, we down. I'm talking like Retlaw. So fortunately Retlaw is my roommate, who is also my resident DJ. Because he's dope like that. And it's just clutch that we live together. So shout out to Retlaw. But
Is
he's
that
standing gonna be like, hey, you down? You gotta play? All right.
is that in the background? Is that the paintings?
Yeah. So
Can you
yeah,
give
I
us a
mean,
tour?
absolutely.
I know you got two
So
devices. It's probably obnoxious.
I can only imagine what this is looking like right now.
You're a superhero.
So we're so you got a couple canvases over there. This is a work in progress. Yeah, this is all the art of Epiphany B. Hope you can see that here
Amazing.
on Zoom, where she's got some stuff. As a matter of fact, let me just flip the camera. How about that? All right, word. So this piece she did for OJ and the Yams. That's a yam spilling out over there.
Cool.
Yeah, I watched Our Real Monsters on Nickelodeon.
Such a good show.
Word. That's Solange. This is Sade. So, all right, we got the setup, DJ setup for Retlaw. He was practicing in here.
You guys are
All
ready to
of
go.
us
That's
got a lot
amazing.
of stuff. Drum kit, organ. There's a lot going on in here.
You know, I miss living with a lot of artists. That was one of my favorite things about this is in San Jose, California. This is one of my favorite things is just being around other artists, maybe people that are doing music, maybe people are just like painting, drawing, doing whatever they're doing. Hey,
Right. Right.
that creative energy really like you vibe with it, and it really,
Oh yeah.
even if you have nothing to do with that, you know, like I'm not a painter, but if I'm around somebody who's painting and just killing it, what a good, you know, opportunity to just
Yeah.
be around, and it's great. It
Mm-hmm.
feels good.
I completely agree. I'm not gonna lie, like we spent a lot of time kind of picking and choosing who we even let live here when roommates started to move out. It was completely a necessity. It was a necessity
Mm,
to make sure that like your vibe was good, that you not necessarily were creative but could communicate and be involved in making this house a home.
yeah.
So this warm feel, it literally comes from people striving to do so. A lot of us are nomads even in our own city, and people look for like a place to ground themselves in. And so even here, it's just clutch that we have such a large community. So majority of the people that we do let in are creatives to some degree, and or just down appreciators and understand that culture. Super important, I feel, at least for myself, while I'm going to be living with people, to make sure that people understand that vibe.
Yeah. So on our Zoom call over here, I've got a question from Athen or Athen. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. But how does one get on a live jam session with you?
Word. Um, so if this is the Athen that I think it is, hi girl. Second, you could just shoot me a video. What we've been doing is just shooting each other videos and or stealing these videos from a Google Drive that we have in this Facebook group. I can invite you directly on Facebook. Yeah,
There it is.
I can I could invite you directly on Facebook. But yeah, we simply just have the video, save it to our phone, create something around it, and then we'll record it. And using the video editing app, we'll just stitch it together. So it's just a matter of making sure that the two videos line up, and it's as simple as that. And then we throw that back out, and somebody else picks it up. Maybe we'll add some drums, bass, whatever have you to it. So it's pretty clutch. But yeah, that's how we can hop on a jam together for sure. Just shoot me a vid. What you want? Send me the BPM.
Okay, so this is something I'm super curious about.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would love to actually come up with like a tutorial on how to do what you're talking about so that other people
Yeah.
can do it. All right, so you have an instrument, you
Yes.
do what if you have to have a metronome going so that you have your beats per minute,
Preferably.
right?
Yeah, preferably. So we're all on the same page. Not everybody does it, but you could feel it. But if you want to be as accurate as possible, then sure.
Okay.
In this particular group, we're not concerned about quality necessarily. Like I
Mm,
just post a video that I recorded from my phone. It's not plugged into anything crazy, just a little amp, you know. We're not necessarily concerned about quality. People can pick it up and still build off of it. So whatever you want to do that and just shoot it our way. And just again to make sure that it aligns. It's easier if you send us the BPM, and that would be all the more easier. I can shoot that to a drummer, or a drummer could take it and know what to vibe off of.
right.
And yeah, it's really just that simple. The hardest part is the editing. Like sticking those two videos together or overlapping and figuring out how to do that. That is the most difficult part. But legit, anywhere between a minute and a half of some content, and that can create so much dopeness, yo.
Maybe you can set it up so like there's a clap track. So everybody
Ha!
needs to clap at the
Right.
same time and then
That's
start like 4 beats
funny.
later.
That's funny. Yo. Oh, I don't even know, man. With these delays, we're gonna
You have to
see.
get inventive, you know? You have to like
I'm with
innovate.
it.
What?
I'm
Necessity
with
is the
it.
mother of invention, right?
There you go.
All right.
There
If
you
anybody
go.
has any questions on Instagram Live or on Zoom, ask away. We're probably going to close up pretty soon, but why don't we do this? Let's have you. How can people find your stuff? If
For
people
sure.
are watching this later on, I'm going to go ahead and go on Instagram, and I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
live stream your that house party though,
That word.
and then we can go other places if you want to. If you're watching on Instagram Live, you're not going to see all this goodness that I'm about to show. Actually, you might. Let me turn this around. All right. This is going to be confusing for like a second, and then I'm going to screen share. It's going to be all right. Don't worry,
But yeah,
Instagram. Okay. So this
word.
is that house party, though, on Instagram. It's just at that house party, though. Where did that name come from?
I wanted it to be catchy and simple, and I wanted it to fit in a sentence. Just like, and be super discreet too. Like, yo, you going to that house party though? All right, cool. Great. Like, I just wanted it to be that easy to access and talk about. So, yeah. And obviously that's kind of how it started, just like these little mini gatherings, which turned into us mobbing, some basement apartments in Harlem. And yeah.
So amazing. How many people average do you have at these parties?
Anywhere between right now 250 and 350.
This picture is so good.
Shout out to Stephanie for capturing the vibes.
Is Stephanie a
That's
regular
funny.
photographer?
That she is. Stephanie Andriana and Sarah Casey Photos on Instagram, who is a former roommate and phenomenal human being. And I might just bring on another on board because the homie enjoyed himself at the March party. His name is
Nice.
Matt Ogilvy. He's also another
Cool.
friend and colleague. I've known him for quite some years, and he's a powerhouse behind the lens too. And when Sarah couldn't make it because she was on a European tour, because she's getting scooped up left and right nowadays, I
Nice.
called the homie Matt, who kind of came out of retirement a little bit and is getting back into photography again. But yeah, so it'll be between the two of the three of them.
Is this that rooftop party that you were talking about? You had a
Oh
little tent
yeah.
outside.
Oh
This
my
wasn't the
God.
original
So,
one, is it?
bruh. All right, no, this isn't the original. This is at my crib now. Let me tell you something. The last time at that party, I think it was that party specifically, not that one, but the one with the tent in the picture in the last one.
Okay.
Bruh, it thunderstormed. I had no idea. I had no freaking clue that it was going to rain until the night before. And we rushed an hour before Home Depot closed to Home Depot to buy tarps and tents. I never knew that tarp was that expensive, first of all. I had
Yeah, they can
never.
be super expensive.
Holy shit. Yeah, it was absolutely ridiculous. And yeah, so we paid a couple $100s for some tarps and some tents, excuse me. And yeah, we set up the entire day. It was like an 8-hour process. And we started the night before with just the two of us. This was not a 2-man job. It turned into a 4-man job, which turned into a 6-man job. And we got up poles and planks to tie the tarps to. It was I have never, we literally tented my rooftop.
Whoa.
That was insane.
That's
Like, I
epic.
have to post that video because it looked, from the outside, it looked crazy. It looked absolutely ridiculous.
I'm
And then
sure.
after five, it didn't even rain, which was
Stop.
crazy. It thundered all day. And then after 5 p.m., it was chilling.
This is a drone shot?
Yeah. And gave me this
That's
footage afterward.
amazing.
Yeah, he gave me the footage after the fact. I didn't even know.
All right,
Apparently
so
I had missed. No, go
I'm gonna
ahead.
go I'm gonna go as far back as I can go.
Oh
Let's find some
Lord.
old stuff.
Here we go.
How far back are we right now? Can you tell just from looking at it?
I can't. I'm terrible with time, so maybe about 2 years ago now, I'm gonna guess.
So how long have you actually been doing this? When was the first one?
So I guess before it was the house party, I called my apartment the champagne room, and anything that I did, it was in regards to the champagne room, which was technically like summer of 2015 when I threw that first very big house party for
Right.
my birthday.
Got it.
It wasn't until I moved here where it really became a brand. So about
Right.
3 years, 3.5 years now. But I guess technically, really, since like that summer, 2015, we were hosting a couple house parties then
That's amazing.
in Harlem. Yeah, so it's kind of just been growing and digging in since, and yeah, now it's a matter of doing all the dope stuff on the back end, getting some grants and funding, getting some sponsorships. What was really clutch about this April party is that we were, I guess I let the cat out the bag, but we were collaborating with a distribution company that's under the umbrella of Rock Nation. So we were going to be doing
Amazing. That's
a
so cool.
collaboration with Duce, and there's a lot of like big stuff that was going on. We had a lot of artists at these last 3 parties at the Sultan Room. We've had some celebs walk in. It's crazy. We've had a lot of head honchos in charge, walking through these doors, VPs and execs from all these different companies. We've had Complex in the building, Spotify in the building, UMG, Universal Music Group. There's
That's
a lot.
amazing.
There's a lot going on. A lot of people are looking, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I said like the brand is going to remain strong. And as soon as, all of this is done and over, we're going to get back to it. But even still, we'll plan this virtual party too, for sure.
That's
Everybody
amazing.
just get in on that.
I'll be there as much as I possibly can for sure.
Beautiful.
And then do people have to bring their instruments? Do I need to bring a bass
I
if I
mean,
want to play?
you can bring your own bass. A lot of people are picky about the bass that they play. Usually we do have one available. And that's because my roommate is a bass player. But in all sincerity, people just bring their own. They BYOB, except for like keys and drums. But yeah, generally people bring their own
Nice.
joints.
Okay, so at that house party though,
Mhm.
at Simpson Keys,
Yeah.
go to that house party. It's such a fucking fun time. I had such a good time when I was there.
Oh man, I appreciate
And I
that.
want to see the next one bigger and better. I'm
Word.
excited for that, or the online one, whatever it is that comes
Oh,
next.
it's
I'll
all
be
gonna be
there.
there for sure. For
Well,
sure. We're gonna make it happen for the
well,
culture for sure.
thanks so much for hanging out with me and chatting. And
Thank
if anybody
you.
wants to see more conversations like this, you can go to artpluspeople.com. It's
Mm-hmm.
entity that I started recently to help people stay creative and to be doing work with people at the core. And, that house party, though, is so collaborative in nature, and all the work that you do is so cool. And you're just like this amazing community builder. And so we want to celebrate people like you that do dope shit.
I
So
appreciate you, man. Let's reverse the hot seat, bro. Let's put you in it next time.
sounds
Hey,
good to me. All
beautiful.
right.
Thank you
Enjoy
so
the
much
rest
for
of your
this.
day. Everybody stay safe. Do the thing. And
Word.
I'll see you next time.
Peace, peace.